I'm gonna crack it open here and see what the heck is going on.
Welcome to the Rad Chaser Show. Please press start to begin the experience.
Rad Chaser.
Greetings, my excellent chasers. So here's a weird one. The other day, I was looking at my shelves here. You'll notice an empty hole right here. Notice a little bit of white dust or some sort of, something going on here on the shelf. And I was like, I don't know what this is. So I inspected a little bit closer and I traced it back to a video game. And I look inside of it and I see ants. This is wild. This is a new one. Sugar ants.
So this copy of Anticipation I have seems to be teeming with sugar ants, it looks like. Sorry, we'll try to see if we can get a better... I'm gonna crack it open here and see what the hell's going on.
Now, normally you see these things in the kitchen, if you have a little food out, they might show up and start eating a little bit, blah, blah, blah. Food, sustenance, not video games. So I look in this box and they seem to be inside the retro protection sleeve, and this sucks because every week I put out a video that says, hey, box up your video games, keep them free from dirt, grime, dust, children's hands, etc., but I guess ants don't apply. So I pull out the game and I open up the box and I find the culprit, and it's Styrofoam. Now, let me back up for a second. An NES game, they kind of made it to look like a VHS case back in the day. What's a VHS, Grandpa? Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's like a DVD, but in cassette form. So as such, if you'll notice, the NES game is of a certain size, which is a little bit smaller than the box. As such, they had to use these things. An innocent enough looking piece of styrofoam, but to the untrained eye, and by that I mean I guess every single video game collector, this could be a house for ants. I've come to find out this is the hard, weird way, and this is a new thing. I've been collecting games for longer than you've been alive.
All right, let's pop it open and see what the hell's going on. Seems to be some kind of dusty residue. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm gonna guess it's the styrofoam. Well, the ants seem to be coming and going in and out of the styrofoam, presumably to make a nest or a spot to live in. Now the question is, why did they pick this game? How did they get in here? First off, we have retro protection sleeves. Son of a monkey. This sucks. Where did they get it in their head that this is where we want to reside? This sucks. Because now I'm gonna have to go through all the games and see what's going on.
I pull out the game, and there's ants crawling in and out of the styrofoam piece. And this is, they've turned this into white dust because they're trying to clear it out and make a little home for themselves. I made a short about this and I posted it, and the general consensus seems to be, wow, that's a new one. So I don't know. I figured I'd make a little bit of a longer form video here just to just as a little first part of the video before we get into some more game pickups. This freaked me out a little bit because I was like, dude, there's no food stuff. These things are in immaculate condition. Nobody touches food and then comes through here, and I'm the only one who lives here, so ooh wah woo. So I freaked out. This is wild. I cannot have this. So I pulled everything off the shelf here. And it seems upon inspection that this was the only game affected. Ah, son of a bitch. So it seems this was the only game that was affected. I went online, I went down a little bit of a hole. So termites eat wood, or stuff like this, styrofoam, that foam sealant stuff as well. Things like carpenter ants, which I come to find. Carpenter ants will sort of chew the stuff up to burrow into it, but they don't eat it and digest it, etc. Now I didn't find anything about sugar ants. online, so this seems to be a new one. It sucks. I took this, so what I did, I cleaned everything up, dusted off the shelves, I took the game, it seemed, everything seemed to be fine. I took this piece of styrofoam and I submerged it in water just to suss out any other remaining little creepy crawlies in this thing. So it's fine, everything's all fine, and this styrofoam here now, if you can see, there's like a little indentation here, and it is a little bit soft and squishy here, so there is part of this inside that is now hollowed out. Wild stuff. I don't know. I've never heard of something like this. I keep the apartment pretty squeaky clean in terms of, cleanliness. Kitchen, whatever. Sometimes you get ants. That's fine. That's okay, Plus, I'm in Florida, so if it's not raining, they come inside and they kind of look for... God. Sometimes ants come inside looking for water if it hasn't rained in a while, so it's fine. Anyway, I thought I'd just share that. That's kind of just a little weird one. Have you heard of this phenomenon? Have you heard of anything about little ants crawling in, getting into your 40-year-old styrofoam spacers? This may be the very first video anyone's ever made about this, so I don't know. Let me know. If you got any stories, drop a comment, like the video, subscribe to the channel. You will do it. Anyway, I've got a boatload of pickups we need to get through, so it's probably going to be spread out over 2 videos at least. So I figured I'd give a little preamble and share this weird story with you, just for funsies. It sucks. I mean, fortunately, there wasn't much damage done. There was nothing done to the box. The box is still extra tasty, crispy, but just a new weird one. Anyway, so I'm gonna take it over to the other me and let you take a look at a few recent pickups. Take it away, guy. Greetings, my excellent chasers. I've acquired enough stuff to do another little pickup video, so here we are. I've got a mix of NES, I've got PlayStation games, I've got some physical print media as well, newer games, etc. So why don't we just dive on in and see what we got. I went to Cybertron Video Games in Altamont Springs, Florida the other day. It's a little bit of a drive from me, about 35 minutes or so, but it's just a quick straight shot up of the traffic-addled Interstate I-4.
Oh my God! We're on an exit! Stop driving so fast! You don't need to be driving 90 miles an hour. We're getting off of the exit.
That's beside the point. Something really cool happened in there. I went in, there was a family in there. It was a mom and a dad and 3 kids. And the kids kind of gave me a little look when I walked in. I was like, oh, that's cool, whatever. Hey, how's it going? Whatever. So I walk in and I see a family. It's a mom and a dad and there's like 3 kids. And they all sort of like give me a look, like, oh, friendly look, whatever, fine. And I start browsing, and the young ones are kind of staying a little bit close to me. And I was like, okay, that's cool, friendly atmosphere, etc. And I ended up making eyes with the dad, and he said, hey, how's it going? And I was like, hey. So he came up to me and he said, hey, I just wanted to say I've been watching your videos. We've all been kind of like binge watching them, and that was pretty cool. That was kind of cool because it was just nice to be out and about and like, oh, somebody saw, the guy from the videos. So thank you so much, family. I totally forgot your name. I only spoke to the dad. I totally forgot your name. I'm sorry. If you shoot me a comment and let me know who you were, I'll definitely give you a nice little shout out. But that was awesome. Thanks so much for saying hey. That was pretty sweet, and I'm so happy you're watching the video. So anyway, awesome. Thanks a lot. First up, for the NES quest, I got 1 game so far. This is Wrath of the Black Manta. This is a platformer. You are a ninja. It's kind of clunky, as you can probably tell from the gameplay here. It kind of looks like Bad Dudes, but if you were a ninja instead. It's kind of slow. You have some power-ups, etc., but it's nowhere near as cool as, say, like Ninja Gaiden or something like that. So it is what it is. This label here is pretty crispy, so that's pretty nice. It came with the manual, which the manual looks pretty crispy too, so that's pretty sweet. And this one happened to have an NES branded sleeve, so this is gonna go elsewhere because this is not an NES first-party game. And I don't know if you can tell, but this is a late release sleeve. I know I've been geeking out a lot about those lately. They're just a little bit more holographic in their look. The red is a little darker than the normal red. And naturally, let's have a side-by-side. The one on this one here is the newer one. If you could see, the texture is a little more thatched, if I could use that word. This one, the text is a little bit lighter, and the texture is just a little bit different on the sleeve as well. Enough of that. I've already gone over this a few times. If you are interested in the nerdier aspect of sleeve variations, let me know and we can, we can go a little bit more depth into it. We can go a little more in depth into it. Cybertron, how's this looking? Are we looking good? Yeah. Cybertron is having an anniversary sale and they have like 25% off of a lot of stuff in the store, so I definitely use that to my advantage. A couple of things I picked up. Star Ocean, Integrity and Faithlessness. I do have this digitally, I believe, and now I have it physically, so I'm wondering if the save file can transfer over. Actually, I don't even know if I've started playing it at all, but I do like my Star Ocean stuff when I see it out and about for sure. And it is a Square Enix game, so as such of my huge permanent side quest collecting all Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest stuff, as well as everything under the Square Enix umbrella. I know it's a big undertaking, but it's a long-term side quest, so we got time. We'll chase it down over time. Another one I picked up here, Final Fantasy XI Chains of Promethea expansion, primarily because of the album art here. Look how cool that is. You can't mess with a mono. They're just a top-tier peak artist, and it's always looks sweet. And this is really cool to have on the front here. Final Fantasy XI is an MMO. It is technically still going on. You can only play it on PC, I believe. I used to play it back in the day on the PS2 with the hard drive attachment to the PlayStation 2. I do already have a copy of this game, but I saw this and I was like, I gotta have another one just because it just looks cool. The price was very right, and again, I just love the artwork. This one's pretty sweet. This is the Game Player's Encyclopedia of Nintendo Games. It's a thick boy too. There's a lot of stuff going on here. I'll probably get some B-roll. Full color. The pages are old, I can tell. They have that old smell to them as well. Stuff like this. The son of Rad Chaser, as you know, has been collecting Nintendo Powers. By the time you see this video, he's already collected every issue, so he's 100%ed it so far, in a sense of getting one of every issue. A little bit of that print media stuff lust has rubbed off on me, and I've been, collecting a couple things here casually. And this is a nice little thing to add to the stack. I don't know if it'll fit into a BCW bag because it is so thick, but I do need to get it protected up a little bit, so we'll see what we can do about that. Pretty sick. You see that Dick Tracy on the cover? Oof, baby. Little ads for video games on the back, Flintstones. Not bad, eh? Cool stuff, huh? We'll keep it moving. One more thing that I got at Cybertron. Yo, look at this. What is it? I'll tell you what it is. It is a carrying case for a Sega Game Gear. Now this thing is, I love the size, I love the thickness of it. I feel like it may have had a strap that came with it, but I don't know. Perhaps future me can figure that out and see if there is. But this thing is pretty dope. Let's open it up real quick. Just like a hard kind of plastic. It's a hard plastic, but it's sort of flocked, so it's kind of fuzzy on the inside. Room for games here. Room for all the accessories in the console as well. Whoops. With the Sega logo embroidered there on the front, that's pretty dope. Opens up, nice Velcro, tons of room in here. So really, this is gonna be the new home for the Game Gear that I have, which I'll show you right now. It's in this thing, which is cool. It's a, this thing's pretty sweet. You can, you could sling it over your shoulder here and carry it on the go, as indicated by this right here. What do you got in there? Oh, just a game system. Nothing crazy, but it's in here, and this is gonna go real nice in the in that new thing. Professional, you know what I'm saying? I got a couple games in here. This Game Gear is functioning. The screen is kind of, I don't know if it's burnt out, but it could use a tune-up. So yeah, not my normal go-to thing, but I saw it and I was like, you know what, this would be pretty sweet. That's gonna do it for this one, my beautiful chasers. Please, thank you so much for hanging out. Sub to the channel, leave a comment if you want to do that. I implore you to. I'll see you in the future. This is the Rad Chaser. He's almost out of here, and now he's out of here. Bang, bang.
I love Rad Chaser. He is handsome and smart.